Hello, this is Matthew Sweeney. My presentation is on SQL Joins. So relational databases allow the user to separate data into related tables, but the question then becomes, what do we do if we want to query data from more than one table? And in order to do that, we need to make use of joins. So there are many types of joins available, and I'm going to focus on one of the more popular ones called equijoins. And equijoins are those joins whose join criteria is based on the relationship between a column in one table and another column in another table. And there are a variety of equijoins, including inner joins, outer joins, left outer joins, and right outer joins. And I'm going to go through those in this presentation. So in order to do that, I'm going to show these Venn diagrams as kind of example. I think we're mostly familiar with Venn diagrams, but if you're not, it's basically just data in A and then data in B, and where they overlap, where the data would be the same, shared between the two. So an inner join is the matching rows between A and B. And the syntax for that is shown here on the left. So they select whatever kind of fields you want to return from the query, and then from the table, and then inner join the second table on, and then this is the join criteria. So here it's just column from table A equals column from table B. And it's important to keep in mind that that's not necessarily the data you want to return from the query. It's just the criteria under which the rows will be returned. So it'll be the rows that match between A and B when that criteria matches. So for example, you could have maybe an item in table A and then something else in table B, another item, and you could match it on maybe a serial number or an item ID or something. But what you really want to return is the item name. So it's just the basis by which the rows are returned in the query. And the outer join is similar, but it also returns members of the intersection of the two rows, but also members that don't match, that don't satisfy the join criteria. And so MySQL does not support the full outer join, which is what I was just described. But there are other outer joins that are supported. And one of those would be the left outer join. So this one returns members of the intersection, but also everything to the left of the join. So by that I mean from the syntax, from table A, left join B. So everything to the left of the join, meaning everything from A, even if it doesn't match. It'll return a row, but it'll just have a null in whatever doesn't match in B. And I'll illustrate that at the end. So the right outer join is the exact same as the left outer join, but just everything to the right of the join. And the purpose of these left and right outer joins, one of the purposes at least, is that they're useful for cleaning up data and finding data that does not have a match in a corresponding table. So, like I said, it'll return it'll still return a row for whatever it is in the left or right, depending on which join you're using, and it just won't show a different matching corresponding data from the other table. So it can show you maybe rows that are supposed to have a corresponding row, but that don't. And so here is some of the sample code from the guitar 2 database from our text, from the database that we're using for our text. And then here, this is showing an inner join, returning the first, last, and address lines. And then this one shows the product name and the item price with a left join. So I'm just going to show you kind of how those would, what kind of results would come from those. So I'm going to actually leave the presentation to go into the my PHP MyAdmin. So this is the inner join. And we see we have the three fields that I want to return from the address table interjoined to the customer table on the customer ID column. So this will return, and you can see that actually returns duplicates here because the customer table actually has that many in it. So it'll return them and then match the corresponding address line from the address table. So it'll return these ones. You can also, if we go back to the left join now, we can show you this one. This one will return. And as we see, we have the product name and item price. Now the product name has more products in it than there are items. So we're joining it on the product ID column. And there's going to be basically more products than there are items. So you can see that it'll match the ones that do match. These are ones where the item price from the order items table matches to these products. But then there are products that don't have an order item to it. So these ones right here, nobody's ordered those. So they're just showing up as null on this side. So that's kind of how the SQL joins work. It sometimes takes a little practice to get used to which data you're meaning to get, and it's actually returning that data. But after you get a hang of it, it's really useful for returning more data than just from one table at a time. All right, thank you.